It's Brody, Alfonso, here to rock on. So get your hands together, sit down, relax for a little bit of magic opening packs. It's mail day today, and we got a few things to show you folks today. I was really excited to see this come in the mail. No, it's not the box of cards inside, it's the box around the box of cards. So these are like some pretty cool plexi cases that I ordered. Finally got the right ones. If you're ever ordering these plexi cases, make sure you get the right ones. Classic example. Here's one that I picked up a little while ago for some of these Japanese edition boxes, but these ones are really nice. I did post a video on the plexiglass. This one's a side loader. I guess it'd be called a side loader. And these fit your standard Magic the Gathering boxes, the current version, size, and dimensions. Should I mention that these do not fit on the vintage boxes? So, kind of learned the hard way. I picked up a few of these, but I can still maybe get some use out of them, put some newer boxes in there for the display. But if you will see these Ultra Pro version of the plexiglass case, in case you didn't know it, this one's a top loader. So the box of cards goes in from the top, debox this Fallen Empires one. These ones arrived and they fit in this way, but they don't quite fit a vintage box. See that? You can't get the top on. Top with no top. That's not a top at all. It's just a bottom with no home. All right. So these vintage style plexiglass boxes, I got a couple, picked up two for $50. Nice to get the box of Fallen Empires into something like this. Very cool. Pretty happy to finally get the $50 case. $50 for two. Found them on sale. Top goes on there. Away you go. Checked your big old boxes of Magic the Gathering. So that's new. Those come in the mail. Really cool. They're nice fit all together. This one's got the neodymium magnets. Is that what they are? They stick really good. These ones have 4, not so many magnets. They don't stick as good. Not watertight, I would say. Just UV light protecting. So now, yeah, we can throw these up in the air, dance around, stand on them, and we don't have to worry about these boxes of Magic cards getting bent up. May have found that the older boxes, like the seal, every time you pick one of these older boxes up, the cardboard's getting older. They got the circle seal on the side, and this cardboard box ends up getting a little bit squishy after some years, even though the seal is still in good shape here. What happens is these circle seal. These boxes end up getting squishy from being handled all the time, and then the packaging gets loose, and then the box starts to break down, and then they're not really something you want to move around or look at or even take a time to enjoy them. But now with the cool case on there, you can check it out. You can handle it, you can spin it around, you can do whatever you like with these beauties now that they are prepared to be inspected and collected, but most importantly, protected, just like your interest in the channel. I got a couple of new arts for you. This one, I'm not too sure if that's going to come in all together. Brody has horticulturally described a new variant of a plant that lives on a foreign plane. As you can see here, in this illustration. And little Mr. Fire Guy, which we're going to do first? Oh, well, what's the heavy one? Fire. Fire. Okay, is this one's hot? This one's hot. Let's do the hot package for second. Let's get out something that slices, something that dices, and get into some mail opening here today. I don't know what these are. These have been sitting on deck since we did the last cartoons with Brody. Today's is a mail opening video with you folks here today. I see you. Dust my eyes, deceive me. The single styrofoam chip. And as we always like here on the channel, not the sticky tape, not the extra sticky tape, just the regular sticky tape, sticky enough to make its way from me to you. In the mail, we have a copy of something. The not too sticky tape, just the regular sticky tape, not the extra stuff that splits when you try and take it off, sticks to your fingers, gets everywhere. We want just the regular old sticky tape. Sticky to win. Let's have a bite before we do this. Have a little sip of something to wash that down. Oh, yeah. Aisling Leprechaun. That goes to show how long it's been since I did a video. This was a pick from Benson and Friends. Benson, MTG, the Aisling Leprechaun. I think he had a singles tech on this, but I really like the card. It's kind of unique in style. It's a green card. It's a 1/1. It costs green mana, just one of them. It's from the Legend set. Legendary art here by Quentin Hoover. Aisling Leprechaun. All creatures that block or are blocked by Leprechaun become green creatures. Use counters to indicate changed creatures. Cost to tap, maintain, and use special abilities of target creature remain entirely unchanged. No changes there. But this little Abraham Lincoln looking leprechaun, he's looking through the bush. I really like this fairy. He's a fairy. This style of art, very cool. Picked up some copies of the Aisling Leprechaun here. I don't know. I don't think it's reserved list. Maybe it is reserved list. Aisling. Ailing? Maybe there's a few ways to say it. The leprechaun looking. I'm looking for my pot of gold, old boy Brody. Double playset of the leprechaun. At least come prepared with you folks. For you folks with a joke and a leprechaun joke. Nonetheless, I digress. What sacre bleu? Speechless. The Power Leech. That's a good card. This has been on my pickup list for some time now. Pretty cool card. Let's read it. It's 2 green. It's an enchantment. It says you green. What? Christopher Rush art? Of course we like that. Nothing wrong with this. Holy smokes. Let's read the card. Here together. So, gain 1 life whenever one of your opponent's artifacts becomes tapped, or whenever the activation cost of one of your opponent's artifact is paid. So a mana rock, whenever an artifact becomes tapped, yep, mana rock, that checks out. Whenever the activation cost of one of your opponent's artifact is paid, you gain a life. It's not triggered by continuous artifact. Sorry. Right. What does a leprechaun eat for lunch? Anybody got the answer for that question? Leave it in the comments section below. All right, it's a Blarney sandwich. Blarney sandwich. Power Leech, Christopher Rush art. I'll take it. This one's worth a couple of bucks. The Leprechaun, not so much. Just like a couple of dollar or two. But the Power Leech is super playable, especially in Commander. But look at the dark border and the art on this card here, especially fun of what I see in this package here today. How's the centering? The centering on these old antiquities cards really quite subjective. Off, up and to the right, high and to the right, still inside the strike zone. Maybe is that a ball or a strike? I think it's still inside the strike zone. It's not too bad. Edges look good. Surface okay. Nicely done. All right. Up next, the fireball. Something. Let's do a mail opening video. Somebody has got to know. What have I got in here? Brody, let's open this package up and see what's in here. Just a power leech and a leprechaun in the other pack. Let's get into here. This one, another one from Card Festival Castle Workshop. Okay. Another piece of the double sticky styrofoam chip and a main course with this sticky tape and a piece of styrofoam to go with it. Let's get that out of there. Delicious. I love those any day of the week. Let's see here. Got a proxy token. Kesa. Whoa, right on top. Look through the game of Magic the Gathering for anybody, those tuning in. Did you know this is the only creature in the game that gives all green creatures +1/+1? It's the only card that does it for green alone. In the color suit green. It's happens to be on a creature. It's legendary. It's a 2/3, but wait, it's green, so it's a 3/4 for 4 or 5 mana. Okay, gets a little better. Kesa pretty great. All green creatures get 1/1. If it's in an elves deck, Kesa speaks as the Elder Druid, but the Yavimaya recognizes only one voice, its own. A great card and a Willow Priestess. So more fairies for the deck today, for the collection, I mean. I would think this is on the reserve list. I really think it is. Card that I have identified as a fairy, and it does fit with the Aisling Leprechaun because it is a fairy as well. Tap it, take a fairy from your hand or a leprechaun, and put it directly into play as though it were just summoned. A 2/3, target green creature green gains protection from black until end of turn. So you can give green stuff pro black. And you can put a fairy onto your battlefield just by tapping it and put it in your hand. Another great card by Susan Van Camp, illustrated here. The Willow Priestess. Let me know if you're a fan of that card. From the Homelands block and on the reserve list, not a bad card. We've got some cardboard. Oh, we did it right. Just a little appetizer, if you please, in the first mail opening video. I'm looking at some backs. This one looks a little different. I wonder what this is. Let's flip it over. Whoa, that's another Kesa, settle down. Another copy of Kesa. So obviously Brody's going hard on the reserve list. Kesa also on the reserve list. Very nice. This could be some bottom 10. Teferi's Realm for 2 blue and enchantment in the Visions block for what? Enchant World at the beginning of each player's upkeep. That player chooses artifacts, creatures, lands, or global enchantments. All cards of that type phase out. So this is an enchanting board wipe that goes around the board and each player gets to choose. Upkeep, artifacts, creatures, lands, or global enchantments. So I guess you can phase everything out, phase stuff back in. You can do some shenanigans. Got to be on the reserve list. Not a bad card. Teferi's Realm. We're going hard into Teferi's Realm. Karavek's Spite. Here's a card from Visions, an instant, and it's pretty great. It's 3 black mana, so you're playing mono black for this card. I think it's rare, but it's also got to be on the reserve list. This one from Brian Talbot, giving us the Karavek's Spite. Spite me, oh mighty spider. Instant speed. It's even got flavor text on it from Karavek. The end justifies the means. What do I care if I rule over the dead rather than over the living? The dead ask fewer questions. Right? Sacrifice all permanents, discard your hand, target player loses 5 life. Seems like a lot of downside. Sack all permanents, discard your hand, target player loses 5 life. So it deals 5 to somebody. It gets rid of all your stuff. Maybe if you want to recur it, that could be good. It's instant speed. You got to pitch your hand, then discard, lose target player lose 5 life. Maybe in a living end deck, that could be okay. Everything goes to the graveyard. You pitch your hand. Perhaps you got some good stuff in there. They're going to bring back from the graveyard. Karavek's Bite and Oath of Ghouls. You know what a card is that's been making a lot of waves these days is Oath of Druids. It's back in Legacy. This is the black counterpart for the Oath. Oath of Ghouls. The Oath sequel. For 1 black and 1, this enchantment says, during each player's upkeep, if there are more creature cards in that player's graveyard than in target opponent's graveyard. So that means during each player's turn, they get to look around and choose a target opponent. And if the player has more creature cards in their graveyard than the choosing player, they get to return a creature card from his or her graveyard to the hand. So the Oath will bring stuff back to your hand. Pretty good in Commander for 2 mana. If you want to get some stuff back from the bin, maybe in Commander where you only get 1 copy. Well of Knowledge. Have a drink from the Well of Knowledge. This is a card I'm pretty bullish on. Picked this up a few times. Weatherlight block, 3 mana. This artifact from Alexander Gregory says any player may pay 2 mana during his or her draw phase to draw a card. Players may use this ability as many times as they choose. A great mana sink. If you got the mana, we got the cards. You got the mana, we got the money. Psychic Vortex. This is an expensive enchantment. 2, not cost-wise like for money, but to play it. It's 2 blue and 2. It's got a cumulative upkeep. What? Draw a card? Cumulative upkeep, draw a card. So this 4 mana enchantment from Weatherlight, just the card. First time around, you draw 1, then 2, 3, 4. At the end of each of your turns, sacrifice a land and discard your hand. So you're going to be going through a lot of your graveyard, especially with the Psychic Vortex in play. I believe it's ReservedList. Some really wild art by Steve Luke here on this card. The Psychic Vortex, that's a card I like to have in the collection. Teferi's Realm, again, ×2. And a Volrath Stronghold. I did it. I did get the Volraths. I think this is reserved, and it's the one of the cards from the Stronghold block, Legendary Land. It's one of a land cycle from a block that is more sought after than the most of the others. This one taps for a colorless. You can pay a black and 1 to put target creature card from your graveyard on top of your library. This is a graveyard recycle. Cycler. This and Soldevi Digger, which puts it on the bottom of your library. This is much better. It's a land, can't be countered. You can tap it and activate it. The activity ability, I guess you could interact with that, but it's still such a good card, super popular, and a lot of people want to get a copy. This is my first copy, so I probably picked it up because I need it for the reserve list, and the Oath of Ghouls, and the Psychic Vortex, and the Teferi's Realm, also easy to pick up along with the Willow Priestess. Why not? There's really nothing to it. I know that you can do it. Hit the subscribe button if you want to see more videos from your host, Brody. I really appreciate you folks for tuning in. Thanks again for checking out this mail opening video. Happy Turkey Day for everybody celebrating Thanksgiving, giving thanks to all of you folks here who tune in and check out the channel. Really busy day here today, and I'm just excited to do a little mail opening. I've been wondering what's in those packages. So have a good one, everybody. Happy Thanksgiving, happy Turkey Day. Gobble gobble. What happens when you call a leprechaun short? He gets offended.